Or he could have just stood there and said, be healed. He said, go show yourself to the priest. Leprosy was such a hateful thing that the priest considered them unclean and wouldn't touch them. Yes. But at the same time, if a leper wanted to know if he was clean enough to come back in society, they had to go to them same priests. It was one occasion that Jesus laid hands on a priest, on a leper. And he wasn't supposed to do that because they considered him a rabbi. But here's the difference. Jesus didn't come from Aaron's priesthood. He came from the order of Melchizedek. Say Melchizedek. Melchizedek was the man that Abraham met, who had no beginning nor end. He was considered a priest forevermore. And Jesus is that priest forevermore. So he's got power to touch anything that's unclean and make it clean. So he said, go your way. Ask the priest, are you clean? I don't know how you feel about it. I want to be clean in God's sight. He's coming for a church without a spot or a wrinkle. Do I have any witnesses here? There were some wise virgins and some foolish virgins. Suffice it to say, the foolish virgins didn't make it in. These men said, we want to be clean. Go show yourself to the priest. Do you know when God cleans you up, your family will know you clean? I need some happy folks here. When you're clean and you show up with the old gang know you clean. What happened to you? I went to a meeting one night and my heart wasn't right, but something got a hold. I don't hear nobody. Of me. Show yourself. Look at a neighbor and say, neighbor, what does that have to do with Thanksgiving? Well, on the way to the priest, they noticed that they were clean. They noticed that they were clean. One man looked at himself. Can you imagine the joy that he had when he looked at his hand? No, they weren't new. No offense. Can you imagine when he looked at his feet and there was no scars on his feet? Can you imagine that when he went to rub sores on his body, they weren't there? When we get cleaned up real good, it ought to make you happy. Every time God shows something to us that he don't like and we get rid of it, we ought to come in church shouting, you know, I got rid of something today. I went to cuss, but wouldn't no words come out. Do I have a witness here? And the cleaner we get, the more God can use us. He can't use no dirty. I think every time I hit a good point, I ain't gonna say the devil in this thing. So, anybody here desire for God to clean even the more? Wash me. Did David said, wash me with hyssop. Hyssop was a soap as strong as bleach. And that's what they took a bath. He said, I need some spiritual hyssop. Wash me through and through. I don't hear nobody. Now, what does that have to do with Thanksgiving? Well, one man who looked at himself, he stopped and he went back. I got to go to Jesus one more time. I don't mean to worry you, Jesus, but I just want to say thank you. I don't hear nobody. Now, and I got to sit down. But God has been good to all of us. This year alone, I should have been dead. But God, I have seen some lean days. But God has been good. So then I joined David when he said, oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good. You know, I believe we ought to thank him a little more than we beg him. For the mere fact that really we have not been as obedient as we ought to. But we're still alive. That's a reason to say thank you. We're still going places we ain't got no business going, but seem like he just winks at us. That's a reason to say thank you. We're still saying things that we ain't got no business saying. And Lord, he could have thumped us and we would have been at our graves. That's a reason to say thank you. Yeah, yes, we haven't been faithful like we should, but that's a reason to say thank you. Yeah, we have not supported the church like we ought to, but God wakes us up early every morning. That's a reason to say thank you. Yes, I don't know how you feel about it, but I want to thank him. You don't hear me. I want to thank him for being bread when I was hungry. I want to thank him for being water when I was thirsty. I want to thank him, yes, oh yes, for when I had my slip-ups, my bleepers and blunders, he kept his arms around me. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for healing my body. Thank you for throwing your arms around me. Thank you. I got health and strength. Thank you. Food on my table. Thank you. Thank you.